The sky was a dull, pale orange, stretched endlessly over the barren wasteland. Dust swirled across the broken landscape, carrying the faint scent of rust and ash. Eli stumbled forward, each step heavier than the last. His clothes were torn, and his right arm hung uselessly at his side. Every muscle in his body screamed with pain, but he could not stop. Somewhere, he hoped, there was shelter, water, something to keep him alive for another day. He had been walking for hours, or maybe days. Time had lost all meaning since the crash. The colony ship that had carried him and a small group of humans across the stars had fallen from orbit like a burning star, scattering debris across this strange, lifeless planet. Many of his companions had not survived the impact. Eli had somehow, and now he wandered alone through the ruins of a civilization older than he could imagine. Rubble stretched for miles. Twisted metal and shattered stone jutted from the ground like jagged teeth. Strange towers leaned precariously against one another, their surfaces etched with patterns that shimmered faintly in the dim light. The architecture was alien, but there was a rhythm to it, a careful design that suggested purpose. Eli limped toward a broken wall, leaning heavily against it. He pressed his lips together to stop a grimace of pain. Every breath hurt. Every heartbeat seemed louder than the last. This has to be shelter, he muttered under his breath. His voice sounded small and weak in the vast emptiness, but he knew he could not rest yet. Not here, not in the open. As he moved, his eyes caught a glimmer far ahead. Part of a massive structure rose from the dust like a slumbering giant. It was different from the other ruins, more intact, more deliberate. Its surface was dark and smooth, unlike the cracked stone around it. Panels of strange metal reflected the dim light. Eli's curiosity flared even as his body screamed at him to stop. Cautiously, he approached. The ground beneath him shifted, sending pebbles skittering in all directions. He stumbled but did not fall. Every instinct in his body screamed at him to run back the way he had come, but he could not. Something about this place drew him closer, a silent promise of discovery or danger. He reached the base of the structure and saw a wide doorway, partially blocked by rubble. Beyond it, darkness stretched into the unknown. Eli forced himself to take a deep breath and crawled through the narrow opening. Inside, the air was cooler, almost clean, though stale with age. The walls shimmered faintly, the alien symbols etched into them glowing softly. Eli's fingers traced the symbols without understanding them. They pulsed gently under his touch, almost alive. A spark of fear mixed with awe ran through him. He had seen ruins before on other planets, but nothing like this. The technology here was advanced. Too advanced to be random. Someone, or something, had built this place with great care. He moved deeper into the structure, careful to avoid the broken panels and exposed wires. The ground tilted downward, leading to what seemed like a central chamber. And there it was, a console, sleek, metallic, and unlike anything he had ever seen. Lights flickered across its surface, responding to his presence. Eli, exhausted and barely coherent, leaned against it. His hand brushed a glowing panel. A hum filled the room, low and vibrating, like the sound of a giant awakening. Eli jerked back, heart pounding. The lights on the console intensified, and the floor beneath him shifted slightly, sending a tremor up his legs. He stared at the console in disbelief. What is this?" he whispered. Then he heard it. A soft voice, mechanical and yet somehow alive. It was not speaking in any language he had learned, but somehow he understood the meaning. Words formed directly in his mind, not through sound. "Intruder detected. Identification required. Command interface engaged." Eli froze. His mind raced. I'm human," he stammered. I'm alone." The voice, or thought, paused, then continued. Biological unit detected. Compatibility confirmed. Access granted. Eli's knees buckled. Access granted? What does that mean? He looked around the chamber. The walls glowed brighter, panels sliding open to reveal cables, tubes, and machinery of impossible complexity. At the center, something enormous stirred beneath layers of metal and glass. Lights traced the contours of what appeared to be a massive ship hidden beneath the ruins. Eli's eyes widened in shock. "A ship," he whispered. His voice was almost lost in the vast chamber. The ship's systems activated slowly, methodically, as if awakening from a centuries-long slumber. Holographic displays floated in the air around him, showing star maps, weapons systems, and unfamiliar symbols. Eli could feel the hum of power vibrating through the floor. Almost like a heartbeat. He wanted to run. He should have run. But something held him in place, curiosity stronger than fear. He reached out again, touching another panel. Immediately, a projection appeared. A figure, alien in shape, but humanoid enough to be recognizable. It was transparent, a ghost made of light, and it spoke in the same voice inside his head. "Human Commander," it said. "You have been chosen to activate the warship. Your command is required to proceed." Eli stumbled back. "Chosen? I don't understand. I'm just a survivor." "Survival requires action," the projection replied calmly. "Integration with the warship is necessary. You may command, or you may perish." Panic surged through him. The weight of the moment pressed on his shoulders. He was just a man, injured, alone, and scared. And yet, here he was, standing before a weapon of unimaginable power. He tried to back away, but the ship seemed to respond to his hesitation. Lights blinked faster, doors opened, and systems powered on. The projection tilted its head as if observing him carefully. "Decision required," it said. Eli's mind raced. Could he use this ship? Should he use it? He barely understood what it could do, but one thing was clear. If he did not act, the power within the ruins might not remain dormant for long. Other forces, whatever had built this place, could still arrive. He had to move. With shaking hands, he touched another panel. The controls lit up under his fingertips, and the hum grew louder, resonating in his chest. Panels shifted and opened to reveal hidden chambers, corridors, and systems he could not comprehend. A holographic interface projected before him, showing what looked like the entire galaxy. "This is incredible," he whispered, awe replacing some of his fear. He had never imagined he would see anything like this. He was just a human, but the warship now responded to him. Somehow he had become a part of it. The projection's voice returned. "Commander, your presence is required for initialization. Systems are online. Authorization granted. Proceed to navigation chamber." Eli hesitated, glancing around the chamber filled with ancient alien technology. Every instinct told him to flee, to hide, to survive alone. But the human part of him, the part that refused to give up, pushed him forward. He limped toward a ramp that descended deeper into the structure. The walls glowed faintly, illuminating the path. The hum grew louder with each step, vibrating through his body. His mind raced with questions, but he knew he could not turn back, not now. And somewhere deep within him, a spark of determination ignited. Perhaps he could survive this. Perhaps he could understand it. Perhaps he could use this power to protect what little remained of humanity. The ramp opened into a massive chamber. The warship lay before him in its full glory, hidden beneath the ruins for centuries. Lights traced the contours of its hull, and mechanical limbs extended from its sides. It was alive, waiting, and now it recognized him. Eli stood at the threshold, injured and weary, yet unbroken. He reached out again, this time with purpose. The warship responded instantly, systems coming alive under his touch. The adventure had begun, and as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the ruins, Eli realized he was no longer just a survivor. He was the commander of a weapon beyond imagination, and the galaxy was about to change forever. The warship lay before Eli like a sleeping giant, its smooth metallic surface reflecting the faint glow of the chamber lights. It was immense, far larger than any human ship he had ever imagined. Panels and conduits snaked across its hull, pulsing faintly as if the ship itself were breathing. The hum he had felt earlier now vibrated through the floor and his very bones. Every step he took echoed like a drum beat through the empty chamber. Eli took a deep breath, wincing as pain shot through his arm. "Okay," he whispered to himself. "Let's see what you can do." He touched the nearest panel. Immediately, lights traced lines across the ship, revealing hidden corridors, engines, and weapon systems. Holographic displays floated into the air, showing star charts, planetary systems, and ships he could not recognize. His eyes widened. This is beyond anything humans have," he muttered. Then the voice returned, calm and precise, echoing inside his mind. "Commander, integration is progressing. Systems online. Activation sequence initiated." Eli swallowed hard. "Integration initiated. I didn't agree to anything." "You are the biological unit authorized for command. Compliance is necessary for survival," the AI replied. Eli's heart pounded. He had never interacted with artificial intelligence like this, and certainly never with something so advanced. But the voice was not hostile. It was neutral, almost polite. Hesitant curiosity pushed him forward. He reached out to a larger panel, and a seat rose from the floor. Automatically adjusting to his weight, screens floated before him displaying schematics of the warship, its propulsion systems, and control mechanisms. The AI's voice returned. "Commander, basic instruction module engaged. Systems can be learned through observation and action. Shall we begin?" Eli nodded slowly, unsure why he felt compelled to agree. "Yes, let's begin." The holographic screens shifted, showing a simulation of the warship in space. Asteroids drifted lazily around it, and enemy ships appeared in the distance. Lights on the holographic displays blinked rapidly, showing shields, weapons, and engine systems. "Observation mode active. Select training scenario," the AI said. Eli hesitated. He had no combat experience, no military training, yet somehow he found himself touching the panel labeled Scenario 1, Defensive Engagement. Instantly, the simulation responded. Enemy ships attacked in waves, weapons fired, shields flickered, and explosions danced across the holographic space. At first, Eli panicked. He didn't know what to do. But then, instinct took over. He studied the patterns of the enemy, the way their ships moved. He pressed a button, rerouting energy from weapons to shields just as a wave of enemy fire approached. The simulation responded, showing damage avoided. The AI spoke quietly, almost admiringly. "Commander, human adaptability detected. Pattern recognition exceeding expected parameters." Eli blinked. I'm just thinking. That's all." The simulation shifted again, this time showing multiple planets in danger. Enemy fleets approached populated worlds. The AI explained in simple terms. These were alien threats that had once controlled the warship's systems. Now they were dormant, but activation could attract them. Eli felt a chill. "You mean, if I'm not careful, they could come back?" "Affirmative. Activation of the warship may signal presence to dormant fleets," the AI replied. Fear mixed with determination. He realized this wasn't just about him anymore. If these fleets were still out there, they could threaten other planets, maybe even Earth. Somehow, Eli had been given a chance, not just to survive, but to defend humanity. He practiced with the simulation, slowly learning to manage the warship's complex systems. Each control panel he touched responded with near-instant feedback. Energy flows, Weapon systems, navigation controls, all became extensions of his mind. Despite the AI's guidance, it was his human intuition that often found the most effective solutions. Hours passed, or maybe only minutes. Time seemed to blur. Eli's body ached, but his focus was unshakable. Every decision mattered. Every choice could mean success or failure. Then, a warning appeared on the holographic display. Sensors outside the ruins detected movement. Small drones, automated and armed, rising from the ruins themselves. They were alien, ancient, and clearly defensive. They had sensed the activation of the warship and were now approaching. Eli froze. "Drones?" he whispered. The AI responded, calm as ever. "Correct. Defensive drones activated. Threat level moderate. Recommend immediate action." Eli scanned the displays. He saw the drones moving methodically, scanning the area. He realized they could destroy him, or worse, the warship itself, before he fully understood it. He took a deep breath, remembering the survival skills that had kept him alive since the crash. "Okay," he muttered. "We can do this." Using the warship's interface, Eli rerouted energy to deploy a low-frequency pulse. The pulse created a temporary barrier, disabling the drone's sensors for a few seconds. He then guided the drones toward a collapsed wall, trapping them without destroying them. The AI monitored silently, processing his improvisation. "Human ingenuity observed. Alternative tactics effective," it said. Eli exhaled, a small smile breaking through his grim expression. "I guess I'm learning faster than expected," he said. For hours, he navigated the warship through simulated dangers and small real-world threats. The chamber itself was alive with movement, the ship responding to his commands, panels adjusting automatically, systems flowing smoothly. Eli's confidence grew. He began to understand that the warship, powerful as it was, lacked one thing: intuition. That was where he came in. But just as he began to feel mastery, a new alert appeared on the holographic display. Something was approaching from above the planet. Scanners detected massive vessels, their shapes sleek and unfamiliar. They were alien ships, larger than the drones and moving fast. Eli's stomach dropped. They're coming," he whispered. "Correct. Enemy fleet detected. Threat level high. Immediate action required," the AI stated. Eli felt panic rise, but it was tempered by determination. He had survived worse. He had survived the crash, the desolate wasteland, and the initial activation of the warship. Now he had to face a threat he had only seen in simulations. He studied the approaching fleet, noting patterns, speeds, and formations. He activated the ship's defensive systems, shields rising in concentric layers around the hull. Weapons powered up, but he held back. He did not want to destroy unless necessary. The first wave of ships entered range. Energy beams streaked toward the warship. Eli reacted quickly, maneuvering the massive vessel using instincts rather than protocols. The beams bounced harmlessly off shields, leaving him exhilarated despite the danger. The AI spoke quietly, almost approvingly. "Commander, evasion successful. Suggest countermeasure engagement." Eli nodded. He pressed a series of buttons, releasing controlled energy pulses that disabled the enemy ship's engines temporarily. They drifted harmlessly, unable to continue their attack. He felt a surge of pride. He, a human alone, had outmaneuvered a fleet of alien ships. He realized something profound. The warship's power was immense, but it was his human intuition, creativity, and courage that made it truly unstoppable. But victory was fleeting. More ships appeared on the scanners, larger and faster than before. The AI warned him. These were the main fleet vessels, not simple drones. Eli's mind raced. How could he face them? How could he protect the planet, and maybe humanity itself? He closed his eyes briefly, remembering the lessons of survival. Think, adapt, act. He opened them, determination burning in his gaze. He could not fail. Not now. Not ever. With trembling hands but unwavering focus, Eli prepared for the next wave. The warship hummed beneath him, alive and ready. The galaxy waited, and he, an injured, exhausted human, was at the center of it all. And for the first time since the crash, Eli felt something he had not felt in days: hope. The adventure had only just begun. Eli floated in the command chair, staring at the holographic displays that filled the control room of the alien warship. Outside the reinforced viewports, the empty expanse of space stretched endlessly, dotted with distant stars and faint glimmers of unknown planets. The AI had shown him the enemy fleet in simulation after simulation, but now sensors indicated they were real, approaching fast, silent, and deadly. The young human's body ached from exhaustion. His arm still injured from the crash and his long trek through the ruins. Yet he felt something stronger than pain: determination. His mind was sharp, quick, learning faster than the AI had anticipated. He realized that survival, both his own and that of humanity, depended not just on the warship's advanced systems, but on his ability to think, adapt, and act in ways the AI could not predict. "Commander," the AI spoke, its voice calm and neutral. "The fleet is closing distance. Threat level, critical. Recommend immediate tactical engagement." Eli nodded, gripping the armrests of the chair. "All right," he muttered. "Let's see what we can do." The enemy ships came into view on the holographic display. They moved in precise formations, sleek and heavily armed, their energy weapons gleaming as they powered up. They were clearly built for war, yet rigid and predictable. Eli noticed patterns in their movement, subtle pauses, and repeated maneuvers. "Human pattern recognition is unique," the AI noted. "Calculating probabilities of evasive action based on your decisions. Uncertainty factors high." Eli allowed himself a small smile. "Good. Keep learning," he said. His voice was steady, though his heart raced. He began issuing commands. Energy pulses diverted to shields at critical points. Engines adjusted to shift momentum and avoid direct fire. The enemy fleet fired, bright beams of energy cutting across space, but the warship responded like an extension of Eli himself. Every maneuver felt natural, almost instinctive, as if the massive vessel were alive. And in a way it was, responding to human intuition combined with alien technology. For a while, the battle seemed to go in his favor. He dodged, deflected, and disabled waves of enemy ships using clever strategies that surprised even the AI. He had rerouted power to shields, then suddenly to engines, creating unpredictable movements. He had guided the enemy fleet into a dense asteroid field, where they collided and were damaged. He had trapped smaller ships in gravitational eddies using the warship's artificial field generators. The AI commented almost in admiration. "Commander, efficiency exceeds projected human performance. Adaptation superior to algorithmic prediction." Eli's grin widened slightly. "I guess humans still have some tricks up their sleeves," he said. But his relief was brief. The AI's sensors soon detected new forces approaching. These were not small fleets like before. They were much larger, faster, and more aggressive. They were the main combat units, not merely scouts or drones. The warship's systems registered their power, and even the AI hesitated. Eli's mind raced. He knew brute force would not be enough. The warship was powerful, but these enemies outnumbered them. He had to use his human creativity, something the AI could not fully anticipate. "Think, adapt, act," he muttered to himself, repeating the mantra that had kept him alive since the crash. Then an idea struck him. He instructed the AI to activate the environmental manipulation systems, The warship's engines could generate microgravitational fields, affecting nearby celestial objects. He guided the ship toward a cluster of small asteroids near the battlefield. The AI hesitated. "Commander, manipulation of objects outside designated combat zones is highly risky. Recommendation, abort," it warned. "No," Eli said firmly. "Trust me, it'll work." The warship's massive systems activated. Microgravitational pulses shifted the small asteroids, creating a chaotic field in the path of the enemy fleet. The larger ships could not maneuver as quickly as the warship could, and they began colliding with each other, their formation breaking apart. Eli's heart pounded as he watched the display, calculating risks, adjusting energy flows, rerouting power to shields where fragments threatened him. "It's working," he whispered. The AI's voice, normally calm and neutral, carried a hint of admiration. "Human improvisation successful, tactical outcome favorable." Even as victory seemed possible, a new problem arose. Scanners detected a massive alien station at the edge of the system, likely the command center of this fleet. Its weapon systems were powerful, capable of destroying entire planets if provoked. The AI projected the likely consequences of engagement. The warship could defeat the station, but only with careful precision. Any mistake could trigger full-scale retaliation. Eli studied the data, considering every possibility. He realized brute force alone would not win. Strategy, patience, and human insight were the key. He remembered a principle from his survival days on the barren planet. Use the environment to your advantage. The enemy would expect him to attack head-on, but he had other options. He instructed the AI to cloak the warship temporarily, hiding it from the station's sensors. Then, using the ship's precise propulsion, he guided it behind the station, where its shields were weaker. He could feel the AI calculating probabilities in real time, surprised by the ingenuity of human thinking. "Commander, probability of success is below 50%, the AI stated. "Good," Eli said, determination in his voice. "That means it's working." He launched a series of carefully timed energy pulses, hitting the station at critical points. The station's defenses reacted, but too late. The warship moved with a speed and precision that no alien algorithm had predicted. Explosions lit up the holographic display as the station's systems failed one by one. For the first time since arriving on the planet, Eli allowed himself a deep breath. The immediate threat was neutralized. The enemy fleet was scattered, and the command station was crippled. He had done it, not just with the warship, but with human intelligence and courage guiding it. The AI, after moments of quiet calculation, finally spoke. "Commander, your human insight has prevented potential catastrophe. Integration with warship systems now exceeds predicted capability." Eli slumped back in the chair, exhaustion finally catching up with him. His arm throbbed, his body ached, but he felt alive in a way he had not since the crash. He had survived, and more than that, he had triumphed. Yet even in victory, he knew the danger was far from over. The activation of the warship had likely signaled other alien forces across the galaxy. The fleets he had faced might have been scouts, and larger, more dangerous enemies could be on their way. The warship was powerful, but the galaxy was vast, and humanity was still small. He closed his eyes for a moment, remembering the barren planet where he had begun this journey. Alone, injured, and hopeless, he had stumbled through ruins and accidentally awakened a weapon of unimaginable power. Now he had faced enemies beyond anything he could have imagined, and survived. When he opened his eyes, the AI projected a new holographic interface before him. It displayed star systems previously unexplored, potential threats, and even habitable worlds. The warship was ready for exploration, defense, and perhaps the protection of humanity itself. Eli realized that the adventure was far from over. The galaxy was open, full of danger and opportunity. The warship had given him power, but it was his human mind, courage, and adaptability that would determine the outcome of the battles to come. "Let's get to work," he said softly, touching the console. "There's a lot more out there to see, and to protect." The AI responded, as always, calm and precise. "Acknowledged, Commander. Ready for next engagement." Eli smiled faintly, a mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. He knew he would face challenges, perhaps enemies far beyond anything he had fought before. But he also knew something deeper. Humans could survive. Humans could adapt. Humans could rise above even the most powerful forces in the galaxy. And with that knowledge, he was ready to continue. The stars stretched before him, countless and unknown. And Eli, an injured human who had stumbled through ruins, was now a commander. A human with the edge of ingenuity, courage, and determination that no alien could match. The galaxy waited. Eli stood at the command console, the massive alien warship alive beneath his fingertips. Stars stretched endlessly outside the reinforced viewport, their distant light flickering across the hull. For hours, he had patrolled the edges of the system, scanning for threats, learning the limits of the warship's immense capabilities. Every movement of the vessel was precise, elegant, almost like it responded to his thoughts before he acted. But Eli knew the peace could not last. The sensors had detected it. Larger ships, faster, more organized, approaching from deep space. This fleet was not a scout or a minor patrol. This was a main force, the true test of his skills, and the ultimate challenge for humanity. The AI's calm voice broke the tense silence. "Commander, primary fleet detected. Threat level, extreme. Probability of success without strategic advantage, low." Eli's jaw tightened. "Then we create a strategic advantage." He surveyed the enemy formation on the holographic display. Hundreds of ships moved with mechanical precision, their energy weapons glowing ominously. It was a fleet designed to overwhelm through numbers and power, yet Eli's mind saw patterns, weaknesses that the enemy themselves could not perceive. "All right," he muttered to himself. "This is it. Time to show them what humans can do." First, he activated the warship's cloaking systems. Its enormous hull shimmered and faded, disappearing from the enemy's sensors. He guided the massive vessel along the outer edge of a nearby asteroid field. The enemy fleet followed predictable attack patterns, scanning for energy signatures and movement. They would not anticipate a human commander using instinct and intuition to guide a ship this size through such a complex path. The AI spoke, calculating probabilities in real time. "Commander, path selection optimal, enemy prediction error increasing, tactical advantage improving." Eli allowed himself a brief smile. "Good, keep it that way." Once in position, he launched a series of precise energy pulses at strategic points within the enemy formation. Instead of brute destruction, he used interference patterns to disable engines and navigation systems. Ships collided in space, some spinning helplessly, others drifting into the asteroid field. Every action was calculated to maximize effect, while minimizing risk to the planet below. The AI's voice carried a note of respect. "Commander, unconventional methods highly effective. Enemy response unpredictable." Eli leaned forward, scanning the holographic displays. The enemy fleet was larger than anything he had faced before, yet even now he saw opportunity. The warship could act like a single human mind, blending alien technology with human adaptability. He realized that the fleet's greatest weakness was predictability, something he could exploit. He devised a plan. Rather than face the fleet head-on, he would split them into smaller groups, using the environment to create natural traps. Asteroids, gravitational fields, and solar flares became his allies, manipulated subtly through the warship's control systems. "Engage," he said to the AI. The warship moved with fluidity, as if dancing among the stars. Beams of energy pulsed across space, but always strategically, never wasting power. Enemy ships faltered and collided, their formations breaking apart under the combination of technology and human creativity. Yet even as victory seemed possible, a larger problem emerged. The flagship of the alien fleet, a massive vessel bristling with weapons and shields, moved directly toward the planet, cutting through debris and smaller ships with ease. Its presence alone threatened catastrophic damage. Eli's mind raced. A direct attack would be too dangerous. The warship alone, no matter how powerful, could not risk taking it head-on. He needed a plan that used both intellect and instinct, human traits the enemy could not predict. He remembered the warship's most experimental systems, gravitational pulses and temporal stabilization fields. If calibrated correctly, these could create localized distortions in space, bending the enemy's movement paths and giving him a chance to strike. "AI," he said, "we're going to need full synchronization. Follow my lead." "Understood, Commander," the AI replied, its voice calm but ready. For the next tense minutes, Eli worked quickly, inputting precise coordinates and timing sequences. The warship's massive engines hummed in response, gravitational fields bending subtly, shaping the battlefield. The flagship moved confidently, unaware of the trap being laid. At the exact moment, Eli released a series of energy pulses combined with gravitational distortions. The flagship's trajectory was altered, throwing it off course. Smaller ships collided with it, and chaos spread through the enemy fleet. The warship moved like a phantom, striking at weak points while remaining almost invisible. The AI analyzed the effects in real time. "Commander, probability of neutralizing flagship, high. Efficiency optimized by human tactical insight." Eli felt a surge of adrenaline. "Good. Keep going. No mistakes." He continued guiding the warship through the battlefield, combining alien technology with human creativity. The fleet's attacks were relentless, but each maneuver by the warship was unpredictable, exploiting the enemy's reliance on logic and repetition. Slowly, systematically, the enemy was defeated. Ships fell, engines failed, and the remaining vessels began retreating. Finally, the flagship, the largest and most dangerous ship, was disabled. The AI projected a holographic view of it drifting helplessly, no longer a threat. Eli exhaled, the tension finally easing. He had done it, not just with technology, but with human ingenuity guiding the alien systems. For a moment, silence fell. The warship's hum was the only sound, steady and reassuring. Eli looked at the stars beyond, thinking of the planet below, of humanity struggling to survive, and of all the possibilities that lay ahead. The AI spoke quietly. "Commander, your actions have secured immediate safety. Threat neutralized. Human insight has proven critical to warship efficiency and victory." Eli smiled faintly. "I guess humans still have a place in the galaxy," he said softly. He activated the communication array and sent a signal to the nearby human colony. They had survived the initial crash and the dangers of the ruined planet, and now he could guide them to safety using the warship's systems. Humans would rebuild. Humans would survive. And if needed, humans could defend themselves against any threat, no matter how advanced. As he stood in the command chamber, Eli realized something profound. The warship was powerful, yes, but it had been his courage, his creativity, and his adaptability that had made victory possible. Alien technology alone could not win battles. It required the human mind to guide it, to adapt, and to improvise when logic failed. He thought back to the ruins, the barren planet, and the long, painful trek through dust and metal. He had been weak, injured, alone. Yet now he stood victorious, not just surviving, but shaping the course of events in a galaxy far beyond his home. The stars stretched before him, countless and full of mysteries. He knew more challenges would come, more fleets would approach, and more battles would be fought. But he also knew the truth of humanity. Cleverness, courage, and determination could overcome even the greatest odds. Eli activated the warship's engines, lifting it from the ruins and into orbit. The planet below was safe for now, its fragile surface untouched by the chaos that had erupted. The AI projected new star charts, potential exploration targets, and systems in need of defense. He touched the console, feeling the hum of power through his fingertips. "Let's go," he said. "There's a whole galaxy out there to protect, and humans are ready." The warship responded instantly, a perfect fusion of alien technology and human ingenuity. Together, they soared into space, ready for whatever lay ahead. Eli's heart swelled with hope and pride. The universe was vast, dangerous, and full of unknown threats. But humanity would not only survive, humanity would thrive. And as the stars passed by, shining like distant beacons of possibility, Eli smiled. He had stumbled through ruins, activated a weapon beyond imagination, and faced unimaginable danger. But through courage, adaptability, and determination, he had triumphed. Humanity's edge, its ingenuity, resilience, and spirit, was stronger than any enemy, more powerful than any machine. The galaxy waited, and Eli, the injured human who had become a commander, was ready. The adventure had only just begun.